Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of Ray's Sports News and Debates. Okay, and today's conversation, okay, we're going to be discussing the 4 NFL quarterbacks and who would benefit the most out of winning this year's Super Bowl. Little disclaimer: obviously, every quarterback in here would, needs this Super Bowl, but we're gonna rank them 1 through 4. Okay, 1 being who needs it the most, 4 who doesn't need it the most, in terms of what it would do for them, in terms of legacy and stuff like that. First, okay, we're gonna do number 4. Okay, number 4, I'm gonna go Patrick Mahomes. Out of all these quarterbacks, the only thing a Super Bowl would do for Mahomes is, 1, I think you could start putting him in terms of a top 10 quarterback all time. Putting him up there with Aikman, Bradshaw, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, etc., etc. Think he's a no ballot Hall of Famer if he definitely wins this Super Bowl this year. No Tyreek losing an elite receiver like that. And yeah, they added Juju. But Mahomes has just been at an unbelievable rate this year. But if they lose to Cincinnati this weekend, or they lose in the Super Bowl, it's not gonna hurt his legacy. Everyone's still gonna think he's the best quarterback in the league. If you don't think he's the best quarterback in the league, I don't know what you're looking at. I guess it's your opinion, but yeah. But out of the 4, I'm gonna go Mahomes at number 4. It just makes him a for sure Hall of Famer, and I think he's gonna get in the Hall of Fame no matter what. But for a guy who broke the all-purpose yards for a quarterback this year, losing Tyreek and still eclipsing that record is kind of special. But yeah, we're gonna go Mahomes at number 4. Number 3, we're gonna go Joe Burrow from Cincinnati. Out of the 3 remaining quarterbacks who haven't won a Super Bowl, I feel like he kind of needs it the least. Now, obviously, Super Bowl would be fantastic for Burrow, to go back-to-back this year, and this time kind of avenge that loss to the Rams last year, in terms of winning it this year. But again, if Burrow were to lose to Mahomes this weekend, or Burrow were to lose in the Super Bowl again, I don't think it would knock him really anything down the pedestal. I still think he's a top 4 quarterback, with him and Mahomes up there. And I don't think that's going to change if he loses the Super Bowl or if he wins the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got to put him and Mahomes kind of in that conversation. They will have both been to 2 Super Bowls. One of them won one, and one of them lost one. The thing that helps Mahomes, though, is that he's been to 5 straight, I think, AFC Championship games, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously, me saying this, these guys need this Super Bowl. But out of the 4 remaining, Mahomes is 4 and, Burrow's 3. Number 2 was tough. Because I could really make a case for either guy. We got Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts at number 2. Hurts had an amazing year this year, 14-1 as a starter. They had the easiest schedule in the league. That's not a shock to anybody. But, he beat those teams. That's what you're supposed to do with an easy schedule. You're supposed to win those games, But I think, it's him getting that first playoff win this year kind of helped. And they beat the ever-living breaks off of the Giants. But, he needs the Super Bowl, but I think only to kind of establish him as an elite quarterback. I definitely feel like a Super Bowl, you could kind of put him in the conversation of top 6 or 7 quarterbacks in this league right now, in terms of play. But, and I'm slowly coming around to Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. I've been one of his harshest critics, especially this year. I mean, they didn't play anybody. I think their hardest game this year was maybe the Vikings. But even then they beat them 24-7. So it's like, But yeah, I'm going to have Jalen Hurts at number 2. Number 1, Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock flippin' Purdy. Okay, now the reason I put Brock at number 1 is, next year we all know Patrick Mahomes is starting for the Chiefs. Next year we know Joe Burrow's going to start for the Cincinnati Bengals. And next year we know, regardless of what happens, Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. But for Brock, it's different. He could lose this Super Bowl, and obviously he lost the Super Bowl. You could go with Trey Lance next year, or I don't know what they're doing with Jimmy. But in terms of you needing it out of all the 4 quarterbacks, Purdy needs it the most. One, because he's not for sure a starting quarterback job next year. I think him and Trey Lance are going to duke it out because San Francisco does not want to be wrong about Trey Lance. And, I'm at the stage now where if you win with Brock, I'm getting rid of Trey Lance. I'm seeing what I could get if I can get a couple draft picks to kind of, help the secondary of San Francisco, which is really their only weak point in terms of their defense. But Brock needs this. I feel like him winning puts his start rate from, I think if he loses at 65-70 to if he wins 90 or 95%. Now we have had a lot of one-hit wonders in the past. Nick Foles came out of nowhere, was the backup to Carson Wentz. When Wentz went down, Nick Foles came in, won the Super Bowl, was Super Bowl MVP. Okay. Joe Flacco, 10, 11 years ago, won the Super Bowl. Got big money for winning that Super Bowl the next 3 years, and he's flopped around the last 6 years as a backup. Just, but, the only quarterback to really kind of not find success, and it's hard to kind of put him in that conversation because he only played 2 games this year, was Trey Lance. They were, I would say, a 600-win club, in terms of having Garoppolo, and Brock hasn't lost. They were, I believe, 3-4 or 4-4 when he took over for Jimmy Garoppolo, and they haven't lost since. But you win a Super Bowl, he goes 12-0 in his first 12 starts. I would be dumbfounded if they went with Trey Lance next year, regardless of however much you invested in him. And I know Kyle doesn't want to be wrong about Trey Lance. I know that organization doesn't want to be wrong about Trey Lance. But, hey, if you win the Super Bowl with Purdy, I mean, and you don't start him next year, one, I think the locker room's going to go freaking crazy about that. Because, bro, we just won a Super Bowl with this guy. How is he not the starter? But, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good 4. Mahomes 4, Burrow 3, Hurts 2, Purdy 1. And I think the one thing I'll add to Brock Purdy is it would be such an incredible story, man, to be Mr. Irrelevant in this year's draft, picked absolutely last, okay, start the year as the 3rd-string quarterback, move to the backup, move to the starter within 5 weeks of the season starting, and to go 12-0, man, that'd be an incredible story for Brock. But that's the list, guys. Feel free to comment your 4 picks in terms of who needs it the most out of the 4 remaining quarterbacks. Okay, the playoffs are this weekend. Give you little predictions in this. Why not? I'm going to go 49ers over the Eagles. I think the Eagles haven't been tested at all this year, and they're going to go up against a phenomenal defense and a phenomenal offense on both sides. And if the Eagles win, hey, Eagles win. They proved me wrong. But, I'm going 49ers. And the AFC is really, really tough. But I'm going to go... Cincinnati. With the ankle injury Mahomes has right now, I know he's probably not more than, and I'm guesstimating here because I don't know, but 70% at very best, 70%. But I'm gonna go Burrow. I think he beats Mahomes again, and Cincinnati will go to the Super Bowl to face Brock Purdy. And in terms of, who's going to get the first Super Bowl, Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow. But yeah, that's my list, guys. Feel free to comment below your top 4. Okay. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel today, guys. Super close to 100 subscribers, guys. And until next time, you guys have a great day.